there guys, Portal Master 9351 here, and in this video I wanted to talk a little bit about Lightseekers Awakening, which is a game that was announced a few days ago that may be the most direct competitor to Skylanders to exist so far. That's pretty big. Now, I'm not going to be talking about its impact on Skylanders in this video. I'll be talking about that in the next video I make about Lightseekers Awakening. I wanted to make this video a few days ago, but then there was so much news that I had to cover that before I covered this, but now I am covering this, and I'm pretty excited to be talking more about this because I definitely think it's something that warrants this attention, because like I said, I think it's a big competitor to Skylanders. So, the ultimate question is, what do I think about it? That's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. So, the biggest, well, let's start with what I like, and then I'll go into what I don't like about it. I think that saying what I like first is probably the best approach. So, I like that you can get it for free to start with. You can pick the game up and you can get it for free, and you can play it on your iPad or your iPhone, and you can try it out, and that is pretty awesome if you ask me. It just allows people to know, am I going to like this or am I not going to like this? I definitely am liking that system. Yeah, I love the figures. The figures are absolutely amazing. They're 7 inches tall. These things are not tiny like Skylanders. These are huge figures. The biggest downfall of huge figures, though, is price, and I'll get into that in a minute. I also love how the figures are light up. That is something really cool. It's dynamic lighting. It's not single lighting, and Skylanders is experimenting with that with the creation crystals, with the pulsating creation crystals, but really, how dynamic is that really? I don't know how, is that really dynamic lighting? Not exactly, because it's just one light pulsing. So, I'm liking these characters with their dynamic lighting that changes colors, and I am definitely loving that. I also love swappable weapons, which is something I've wanted in Skylanders for a long time, and yeah, we're kind of getting that with Imaginators, but we're kind of not getting that with Imaginators, when I say swappable weapons, I generally meant you can take the weapon off the Skylander and put another weapon on the Skylander. Yeah, you can do that in Imaginators, but you can't. It's not real. You're not really taking a weapon off a Skylander and putting another weapon on there. So, I love this new level of interactivity with this Toys to Life game, and I really think it's going to help drive competition for Activision to do better, which is what I'm going to talk about in the next video about Lightseekers. Now, an interesting thing about Lightseekers Awakening is that it's also called Lightseekers Awakening, and that means that they're either setting themselves up for a sequel or an expansion. Now, I think they're going to be like LEGO Dimensions. They've talked about how they are planning to never finish the game truly, but continuously expand upon it. And that is more or less what LEGO Dimensions is doing, and I think that that is the superior method. Skylanders should not switch to that, in my opinion. That would not work for Skylanders. It just does not work. If they had started that way, it would have been okay, but now, no, it does not make sense to say, here's your Skylander game. It's your Skylander game that you're going to own for 10 years, and yeah, there you go. The only reason that LEGO Dimensions ever needs to sell a new game, is if they decide to completely redo the game, change the engine, change everything, and, totally reinvent the game, and I think that that is how Lightseekers is going to be as well. You look at Destiny. Destiny does not actually have a subtitle. The original Destiny, at least not to my knowledge, but then you look at the next Destiny games, and it's like, Destiny, Rise of Iron, Destiny, The Taken King, stuff like that. And I think that that is what Lightseekers is hoping to accomplish. So, right now, you're getting to see Lightseekers Awakening. The next time you'll see Lightseekers Midday, and the next you'll see Lightseekers Going to Sleep, or something like that. You'll see just the subtitle change with expansions. That is what I'm thinking is going to happen, and if they do that, then they are doing really an awesome thing, because I think that that is how Toys to Life games should work in general. You shouldn't need to keep buying new games. That's one of the perks of having the toys, that you can just update the game. And so if they end up doing that, then they will be making a really amazing choice, and I think that is what they are going with. So I am very, very pleased with that. One final thing, and I could keep going. I could keep going, and I could say things that I like and things that I don't like, basically for hours, but I'm going to try to cut this down. Now, another thing I like is that every race, they said, is going to be represented in the game. My understanding is that Mari, which I thought was the name of the water character, she's not actually Mari, that is her race. Her race are the Mari, and she's named something else that I can't remember. And then you have Tyrax as a race, and Jax is the character that represents that race. I think that that's really cool, because there's a lot of races in Skylanders that have never been represented as Skylanders. So like, you take the Spellpunks. We don't have a Spellpunk Skylander. How awesome would a Spellpunk Skylander be? Pretty dang awesome. So it's not like you'll have that problem in this game. Every race will be represented, and I think that's really good. So now I'm going to talk about what I don't like, or what I think I'm not going to like. Honestly, the card game seems unnecessary. I understand why they are doing it. I totally understand why they're doing it. However, Battlecast has not sold well. Battlecast is just plain not sold well. I think that they kind of invested a lot of money in that, and it didn't end up working out. Or at least the physical card sales are not picking up. I think that they may be trying to rush into this a little too soon. Rush into trying to create a full franchise a little too soon. Maybe they'll pull it off. Maybe they will. But it just from a random guy saying this, it does not seem like you would want to try to make a card game, launch with your actual game. But, I don't know, maybe it will work out. I'm not 100% sure. And I'm also not sure, will there really be a crowd that follows the physical card game? That will really determine the success of the physical card game. So, I don't really know. Next up, and I think that this is probably the biggest turnoff for me, is the price of the figures. It is $70 for a figure, a weapon, 5 cards, and a few other things. That is $70. So are you telling me that I'm going to have to spend $50 on every one of these figures? That doesn't seem right to me. $50 for a figure is way too much. I would be willing to pay for a figure like that. Keep in mind, it's a 7-inch figure. I would be willing to pay $30 for that. But $50 is just pushing it way too far. Anki Overdrive, cool game, but the cars are $50, and that is a huge turnoff. And I am saying it right now that if the figures cost $50, they will not sell. I am saying that right now. I may buy one. I may buy the starter pack. I am planning on buying the starter pack for this game, but if the figures end up costing $50, then no, I'm not gonna do that. That's way too much. And then you have to think, how many of these things are there really going to be? Even if there's only 10, you're still gonna spend $500 for 10 characters. Is that really what you want? Oh, but then there's the card game. It just seems like that's way too much. So I'm really hoping that it's not that much, or that they change the pricing, because that's crazy, to be completely honest. That is absolutely insane. One thing I don't like, and this does sort of pertain to its relationship with Skylanders, I don't like how the artistic style is very similar to Skylanders. Now, maybe it's just a coincidence, but to me it seems like the artistic style is very similar. And don't get me wrong, I love the Skylanders artistic style, but it just seems to me like that's sort of copying. Now, I'm not saying that they are outright copying, because the only one that's ever done that is Disney Infinity, for reasons that, if you want me to explain that, then comment and I will explain that, like, down in another video, why people hate Disney Infinity, because there are reasons that are, like, long forgotten, and we know we don't like Disney Infinity, but we don't know why. I still remember why, so I will explain that if you guys want me to. But basically, they're not outright copying Skylanders, and they've said they've had respect for Skylanders, which is a lot more than Disney Infinity's ever done. Disney Infinity never even acknowledged Skylanders' existence, essentially. This game has already said, we respect Skylanders. And I respect them for saying they respect Skylanders, but their artistic style does seem a little similar. There are some people, because I know there's a character named Flameslinger, that are saying, why would you copy Flameslinger? You know, but honestly, I don't so much care about that as long as the characters themselves are not similar. As long as Flameslinger in Lightseekers is nothing like the Flameslinger in Skylanders, I'm fine. I'm 100% fine with that. So yeah, that is pretty much, you know, what my personal thoughts about Lightseekers Awakening. Now tell me down in the comments, do you like Lightseekers Awakening in general? And if you do like it, are you going to get it? Now, in an upcoming video, I'm going to discuss Lightseekers Awakenings and its impact on the Toys to Life market, as you know, in its entirety. So stay tuned for that. That will be coming up really soon. It may get pushed back a little bit because there is so much Skylanders news coming in right now, and it's getting very close to Skylanders launch. So seriously, the news is just pouring in. So it may take me a little while, but there definitely will be another video about this before, you know, too long. So anyways, this has been Portal Master 9351. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye!